somebody asked me a question today. They said, do you think somebody can succeed without struggle? And I said, the struggle you are signing up for is directly connected to the size of your goals. And if you don't have any goals, you're setting yourself up for a different struggle that doesn't seem like a struggle until it does.
Geniuses can hold multiple beliefs simultaneously in a given moment. And so I'm always learning from the past, building in the present, and optimizing for a bigger, better, brighter future 24/7, 365. And I'm doing that right now. As a matter of fact, I wouldn't even be here. See, people think we're here to be here. We're not. We're all here because our three goals have collided in this moment.
So I am here with Alan Lazarus and Kevin Palmieri. And what we're going to do is we're going to be talking about a lot of super cool stuff that's going to change your world, no doubt about it. But here's some background on Alan. He's a CEO and founder and co-host of Peak Performance Business Coach. At the age of 2, this is going back a long ways, his birth father passed away in a car accident. Like, imagine that. There's tons of trauma, all kinds of stuff going on. And then 24 years later at 26, after getting into a nearly fatal accident himself, he just questioned everything. So he's already extremely successful from the outside looking in. So we've seen this a lot, right? But filled with a lot of pain, regret, and abandonment challenges. I mean, you lose your dad at 2. That's a tough deal as a young man. So searching for answers, he finally found what he was really missing all this time. And what Alan would say is that's real, authentic personal development. So today, he's leading a global team of 21 individuals as the founder and CEO of Next Level University, a global top 100 podcast focused on helping others reach their own unique potential in health, wealth, and love. So he's got well over 2,100 episodes. That's a lot of episodes, and more than 1 million listeners in over 180 countries. Most people don't even know there's over 180 countries. Alan's been doing this kind of work for more than a decade and accumulating more than 10,000 hours of coaching, training, and podcasting. So we're going to tap into a lot of that knowledge today. Kevin, I'm going to switch it over to you. So Kevin's the CSO, that's the Chief Sales Officer, also founder and co-host with the Peak Performance podcast coach as well. Some people, find rock bottom, right? We all hear that. A lot of people do. Kevin found out that rock bottom had a basement. So even a little bit further down. So in his mid-20s, which he still looks like that to me, he had it all. I mean, who doesn't in your mid-20s, right? You know everything. Everybody knows everything in your mid-20s. So you got it all. By that time, this is what Kevin already had, right? Beautiful girlfriend, high-paying gig, sports car. We'll find out what that is. His dream selfie body, but he still ended up sitting on the edge of a bed debating suicide. So that's real stuff, right? So you outward looking in, it looks like this guy's got everything, but he's still debating suicide. So after this rock bottom basement moment, he went on a holistic self-improvement journey. And so he was determined to overcome anxiety. We'll talk about that because how many people are dealing with anxiety these days, right? And depression, and finally live like this dream life that he's always dreamt of. So years later, he's now hosting this podcast that impacts hundreds of thousands of people in countries all over the world, like we mentioned. And both he and Alan have helped grow the podcast into a multiple 6-figure business and recorded well over, like I said, 1,200 episodes. So the main thing that changed, this is what Kevin would say, was him. So we're going to go into that. Kevin's all about consistency, commitment, habits, mindset, confidence, relationships, and everything in between, which we've been talking about before we pressed record here. So you guys are over in Massachusetts. Fun to have some commonality there. Here's what I see weaved into a lot of your background, and that is self-improvement, personal development. So why is this so important to you guys? And then why do you think this is essential for people if they want to get ahead in anything?
Go ahead, Alan. Lead the charge, buddy.
All right. So personal development. I grew up in a tough environment. Mom and stepdad didn't get along. This was from 1991 to the early 2000s. My stepdad, I mentioned in the preamble here, that he worked for a company called AGFA. They did hospital computers during the dot-com era. So they partied, and they did very well. So from the outside looking in, it looked really good. But they didn't get along, and there was not a lick of personal development. Zero self-improvement, personal development, personal growth. And growing up, they hung out with a crowd that I would consider, I'll say running amok, partying. And I remember thinking to myself, everyone hates their job. No one seems happy to me.
In this group?
yeah, marriage seems terrible. You guys don't even like each other, never mind love each other. And so I remember thinking, and people would come to me. I'll never forget it. I was a cart kid and a busboy at a golf course. And they'd say, these are the best years of your life. And I remember thinking, God, I hope not. I get in my car accident. I'm 26. My birth father died in 1991 in a car when he was 28.
Man.
And so for me, that was 10 years ago. I know I look young.
Yeah,
and 10
definitely.
years ago, I found personal development. And so why does personal development matter? It's the foundation you build everything else on top of. My favorite shape is a pyramid. And the reason why is because a pyramid can't grow taller until the foundation grows wider. And to me, most people, including myself in the past, reach a new level of success or a next level of success, pun intended, here at Next Level University. And we let the foundation erode out from under us. So physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual development, I believe, needs to be the foundation, because otherwise eventually you'll have a midlife or quarter life crisis like I did after my car accident and realize that maybe your whole life was not wrong, but not your own.
It's interesting, when a lot of people see that, that environment that you're talking about, the one where they're partying, seem like they've got everything, you're looking from the outside in. You had some pretty good introspection at that time. I mean, to be young and see that, a lot of young people look at that and go, I want that, because of the cars and the yachts and the money that they're throwing around and just the lure that has. I mean, you must have had something different in you that didn't, like that didn't run across your mind. There wasn't a part of it like, look, I kind of want all that stuff. I just don't want to be miserable. Or was it like, hey, throw it all away. Like, this all seems garbage to me.
I wanted to achieve high levels of success. You mentioned the 10,000 hours of coaching, training, and podcasting. The reason I'm grateful you mentioned that in the intro is because I'm not just talking. I've met people from all over the world at this point, studied them, and I realize now that I'm very weird. Very, very weird. So as a kid, I was really weird too. Built my first computer when I was 12, arguing at 12 with my buddy Kiki, who was smarter, Bill Gates or Steve Jobs. That's you and I connected over tech. You were in Silicon Valley and the tech during this time. And so I've always been this sort of weird, esoteric, nerdy engineer who had these huge goals and dreams to be like my hero, Steve Jobs. Hero at the time, no longer a hero for reasons. But ultimately, I was very existential. And I think it came from massive pain. I saw my life, and when my stepdad left, he took his entire extended family with him. My real last name is actually McCorkle, so Lazarus is his last name. And I kind of lost 3 families by the time I was 14 because we didn't really associate much with the McCorkles anymore. My mom got in a fight with my Aunt Sandy. We got ostracized from that side of the family. So I think Goodwill Hunting is kind of a good metaphor for my life because of all the abandonment. And so I had to sort of achieve and prove myself. That said, the allure of success as a warm-blooded American male was in me. I wanted a yacht in Newport. Like, I had big dreams. But I'll tell you what, I saw what success was. We had a yacht, we had an apartment building, we were best friends with people who owned golf courses, $150 million net worth, this whole thing. And ultimately what I came to realize is that behind the scenes, those people's lives were pretty atrocious. Alcoholism for sure.
Yeah.
Drugs. And I fell for some of that too. I partied too. High school, college for sure. But I think I always was existential, and I thought to myself, there has to be more than this. Because my mom and stepdad, everyone thought he was awesome. Everyone thought they had the life. We lived on a lake. Kevin came to my place in middle school. He thought I was the rich kid. But from the inside out, it was atrociously bad. From the outside in, it looked awesome.
That's great that you learned that early. Some people don't catch that, even if they're exposed to it young, don't catch that until much longer. And then the same destruction happens in their own life, right? They just continue to recreate the same problems. And then even though you got into that scene a little bit, like you mentioned, high school and college, you got out of it and found a different way, which is super cool to be able to do that. It seems like the people that end up doing it differently have to go through it before they realize there is a difference. I guess that's the value in having gone through it, right?
I had to. So high school, college, corporate, and corporate was Cognex. We talked about it. It was work hard, play hard. I used to say work hard, play harder. So I did do my own little flavor of it. The car accident for me was the ultimate wake up call. It was, okay, Alan, I mean, this is just not the path. You gotta turn it around. That was 10 years ago, and then I went all in on personal development, and that's an understatement. I am obsessed. And fitness model, fitness competitor, fitness coach. Now we have this Next Level University that's built around personal development, and I think it's the most important thing in the world. I think the whole world would benefit from working on themselves, because you can't change. You can't change who your mom is, or your dad, or your stepdad, or your aunt, or your uncle, but you can change you. You can. It's a growth mindset. You can change. There's very little about you can't improve. Kev can't get any taller, but he can do pretty much everything else.
I've tried. This is it for me, Tim. This is as tall as I'm going to get.
This is it? Well, I mean, I look at 4'11". I think you've got a lot of opportunity in life. And I think it's,
I appreciate that. That's why I go to the gym. I can't get any taller, but I'll get bigger in other ways. That's the goal.
Well, so what's that been like for you, Kevin? With obviously, it's important to you too. So we've got Alan saying it's the most important thing in the world to him, and wants to be able to help other people see the value in that as well, which is what you do, obviously, with Next Level University. But what's it meant to you?
I think we have very similar stories, but we're also polar opposites in many ways, where I didn't know my dad growing up. I didn't really meet my dad until I was 27. So I didn't really have a positive male role model, and I didn't have anybody in my life practicing self-improvement. There's a running joke in our town. Alan doesn't really know it because we're the same age, but my family was always in trouble with the law. That was like always the thing in our town. So there were not high hopes for me. And I think the trap that I fell into was assuming that when I became a young man, I just got all the things that I longed for when I was a child, I would be successful and I would feel really good about myself. So as you alluded to, when I was 25, my girlfriend at the time was a model. I was getting ready to compete in a bodybuilding show, so I was in the best shape I will ever be. It's magazine quality, like the best you can be. I was making six figures. I had my 2013 Subaru WRX. That was my dream car. It was super loud, custom exhaust, new
doing
apartment.
Some drifting. Yeah.
I was doing some drifting for sure. And I just had all the things that you could think you wanted, because that's what I thought was going to fix me. And then I realized, after going through a really tough breakup, finding a way to make even more money, that for most of my life I had lived unconsciously. I don't know why I'm doing what I'm doing. I don't know why I'm setting the goals I'm setting. I have no idea why I'm doing this path that I'm doing. The opposite of unconscious is hyperconscious. Acutely aware. I want to know everything about myself. So honestly, I became obsessed with self-awareness. And then as a byproduct of that, I got into personal development with Alan. I think self-awareness is one of the most important things, and it's a facet of personal development. But I think, to me, at this point, it's proving myself in the past wrong. Tim, I didn't think I was going to amount to anything. I am playing with house money. Alan knows that. I'm way more successful than I thought I was going to be. Now I want to see how far we can push this bad Larry, because I'm already playing with house money, so let's just keep going all in and let's see what happens. And I'm proud of what we've built, and I'm proud of the man I've become. And that's something that, for most of my life, I couldn't have said that. I was not proud of myself. I didn't feel smart. I didn't feel valuable. I didn't feel competent. So I think at the end of the day, the only real way for me to help elevate other people is to elevate myself. And the only way to elevate myself is going to be through personal development every single day, even if it's a little bit. I mean, it adds up. And we're a really good shining example of what can happen if you work on yourself for a decade, or 8 years in my case, a decade in Alan's case.
It's great to hear. I think a story of overcoming is always more, just personally, always more interesting to hear than, well, I got out of school, whether it's high school or college or whatever, and things just kind of fell in place. It's been easy. I've made crazy money. Things just seem to fall in my lap. It's hard to, I don't even know if I make mistakes. If I have, they seem to like to get, it's boring, right? So the overcoming stories are terrific, and I love to hear them. And what I hear and what both of you are saying too, and just like in my mind's eye, what comes to mind is if you're not in control of these things, like the world will literally program you. Like, it's intended just to program you. Like, if you're not aware that you're being programmed and put down a particular path, and that you're not in control of that, then you can be programmed and go through life without realizing somebody else has been thinking for you. Somebody else has been making decisions for you. something else and you're fitting into somebody else's mold, which in a lot of cases is benefiting them for whatever that might be. It's orchestrating and shaping human behavior to buy things, to get into particular groups, to steer in a society, to do all kinds of stuff. And so it's almost like God himself just goes and plucks people out of the matrix, to use that term, right? He's like, nope, I'm taking Alan and I'm taking Kevin and I'm going pulling them out of this mess. And I'm going to, put a fire in them that is going to make them change what they're doing so they can have a different direction, so that you in turn can, help thousands of people. But it is interesting that not everybody is going to do it. Like, not everybody does do it. And you guys did, but would you say also, hey, this is hard work, like personal development, self-awareness, self-reflection, overcoming trauma, dealing with your past, moving forward. It's hard work, right?
It's the worst. Yeah, it's absolutely terrible. It's the worst, but it's also the best, and the alternative is worse. And I think somebody asked me a question today. They said, do you think somebody can succeed without struggle? And I said, the struggle you are signing up for is directly connected to the size of your goals. And if you don't have any goals, you're setting yourself up for a different struggle that doesn't seem like a struggle until it does. And I think at the end of the day, it's really hard looking in the mirror. I want to do this. I'll take us right behind the scenes. We were doing a preamble, and I said something about Alan that I think triggered Alan. I can't stop thinking about it. I've been thinking about it this whole freaking time. I said Alan likes to get the last word. I didn't mean it in a negative way, but I know Alan has gotten that in the past for sure. I've been thinking about it this whole freaking episode, waiting to text Alan after and say, hey, brother, I messed you up, didn't I? Let's talk about it. That sucks. And it hurts. And if I want to be the best version of me, I have to face that. I have to talk to Alan about it. We have to be vulnerable. That's the part of growth that kind of sucks, the internal stuff. Going to the gym and lifting weights is really easy for some people. Hey, Alan, let me call. Hey, man, I know I said that thing and I think I might have triggered you. Are we good? That's really hard for some people. And I think that's the piece of growth. We tend to avoid the thing we need the most because it's the hardest usually. And I think that's why the growth journey I've had sucks, because I want to avoid it. The growth journey Alan has sucked because he wanted to avoid it, but that was the stuff that we needed. So that's the thing. Last thing before I kick it to you, Alan. When I logged into the room, Tim, he said, hey, how you doing? And I said, another day in paradise. And you said something along the lines of that good, huh? And I said, look, I'm living my dream, but every dream has nightmares. Every dream has nightmares. And right now
it's this podcast.
Right now it's this podcast. Yeah. No, this is wonderful. I enjoy it. But I think that's the important thing too, is like you said, even in that hypothetical story of, well, I graduated school, I got 7-figure income. I don't know. I just met a model and it all just kind of worked out. There is a struggle within that. But it takes a certain level of awareness to understand that the lack of struggle may create a struggle later.
It's well said, and I know that Alan's going to jump in, and I appreciate your vulnerability, even real time. Like, that's the great thing about having a real authentic conversation, is like, we're just talking, 3 dudes just talking. And that came out, like you said in the preamble, we're just having fun, we're riffing, and it comes out. And you mentioned that you've studied self-awareness, which I agree with you, obviously is a key component of personal development. So you can work on yourself, be aware of your environment, but hey, who am I in my environment? And to your point, when you said that, if you don't have the self-awareness, you couldn't even have the conversation, because you wouldn't even know that it potentially was off, or that you're like, hey, I didn't mean it like that way, brother. Like, he probably knows your heart, knows that you didn't, but we hear certain things. And even though it's from somebody that you love and appreciate, you're still like, that I heard it. I know they didn't mean it that way, but I heard it. It triggered something else. I got the synapses I'm still trying to rewire, but I haven't quite disconnected it fully. And there goes my mind. And now I'm down this rut. And here you are. But when you can have an authentic conversation and say, dude, I didn't mean it that way, it does. Like, it's done. Like, and then you just get to move forward. Right, Alan?
Yeah, I knew that whole thing happened because we've been working together a long time, and I knew he didn't mean it that way. And I knew that Tim, quite frankly, and Kevin wouldn't mind me sharing this, you and I, we geeked out about tech and Silicon Valley in the 90s and all this stuff. So Kev, his insecurity got him to say that. And he knows that, and I know that, and we're good, man. We're all good. No worries.
Well,
and I know
like-
you didn't mean it that way either. That's
but
not what you meant.
I think that's the thing is like I know that you know that I didn't mean it that way, but I need you to know that I know that I said it and it
Yeah,
might
yeah.
have triggered.
Nice.
That's the
Metacog right there. That's good stuff.
that's always working in the background, and that's the wonderful thing about having a great business partnership like we do. Like we want what's best for each other, and we want to be not toxic, healthy men that work together to change the world in the way we're trying to change the world. And I think that's one of the requirements is, look, let me be vulnerable for a minute. Cool, talk me up. I'm doing cool stuff and I'm quote unquote successful, but like I'm still working through being a freaking human every day. And I think that's everybody's working through something.
No doubt. Yeah, that is the part that's never going to end. And which is that's the reality, and that's also the authenticity of it. So let's talk about that. You guys working together, like you're building this together. You both have the same heart for helping people. What does next level mean? I mean, I think in our eye, we're like, okay, it means like you're leveling up, you're doing something better. But what does it mean to you guys? Like, what does next level mean to you?
I had a ex-girlfriend who's a sweetheart, and her name was Courtney.
Just in case she's listening.
Yeah, no, she actually was though. Yeah, I have another ex-girlfriend who is not a sweetheart, and in case she's listening, I don't really care. No, the truth is she's a sweetheart, wonderful human being, and she said to me, "Is this an explicit show? Am I able to swear? I'll keep it respectful, but am I able to
Yeah.
swear?"
I mean,
Yeah.
we have a lot of people listening that are
Yep.
that are probably so
Okay.
whatever substitute you want to use.
She came to me playfully, but some truth. Many a truth said in jest, right? She said, dating you is like dating a fucking Stairmaster.
Oh.
And what she was trying to say is you never stop. You never stop. And I started to explain Next Level like this. Next Level University is built on a belief. I'm a striver, not an arriver. Kevin and I don't want to be gurus talking from some mountaintop as if we've arrived. Because I've been in the personal development space, fitness space, all this stuff, and there's some people screaming into microphones telling you how you should live, and it's like, well, I'm not going to name any names, but if you're so next level, why are you wildly out of shape? And why are you screaming at me when you can't even go to the gym consistently? So to me, I think that there's a lot. I believe in the future. The future matters more than the present because pretty soon the future is going to be the present. I believe deeply in having goals beyond your current reality. And I believe in, and I've studied the neuroscience of this, when you don't use it, you lose it. And if you don't have self-belief, you won't have goals. And if you don't have goals, you won't have standards. And if you don't have standards, you will lose your mind. We've all known someone who has retired and stopped having purpose and meaning, and they lost their mind and their body. When you don't use it, you lose it. Now, I'm on the other end. Sometimes I overuse it, and I'm not aging well. Trust me, I probably aged 10 years in the last 5, to be honest, even though I still look young.
You do.
Thank you. And you do too, because
thank
you're in
you.
your 50s. And yeah, thank
you.
It gets cooler later, I hope.
Yes. Well, it's way better to hear it in your
Way
50s.
better
than
later.
it-
Okay,
Way
awesome.
better. Exactly.
But the truth is, this whole arrival thing, I don't believe in it. I believe in striving. I believe in betterment. I believe in the next level. I believe in having goals and dreams. And I believe that living the dream is actually a byproduct of chasing the dream. And I think that having big goals and dreams, we had our first 100K month. It's going to be this month, actually. And
congratulations.
assuming, thank you. And that's a big deal for us, and that's great. But also, I don't really care. I want to go for 200, and I want to go for 300. It has nothing to do with the money. It has to do with human potential and becoming all I can be. And in order to become all I can be, I have to shoot for something that's never been done. And I think that Next Level University is doing something very unique in the world. And I think that it's bringing back a level of excellence that I think sometimes I wonder if we've lost, because I think arriving has gotten so cool when post-World War II, striving was the thing.
Well said.
And you're shaking your head. Yeah. Kevin's
Well
like,
said.
yeah.
I
Okay.
look at it from, I think, for me, for like the audience and the community we have, it means getting a little bit better every day. There's always an opportunity to get a little bit better, just a little bit better. You don't have to be as obsessed as we are. And Alan's more obsessed than I am. I'm a second place for sure on that. But I heard a quote, I don't remember who it was, and honestly, even if I did, I don't know if I would aspire to want to talk about who it was because I've lost a lot of hope in people in general, Tim, especially in this industry. But it was something along many of our heroes have fallen. It was something along the lines of my goal is to be uncommon in a room of uncommon men. Like if I'm in a room, I want to be in the top percentage of health. I want to be in the top percentage of wealth, and I want to be in the top percentage of love. And I don't know if I've ever met somebody who is in all of those buckets. And that's what we aspire to. I do not want to be successful at the cost of my character. I do not want to make a boatload of money and not be able to feel comfortable and confident taking off my shirt at the beach that I never go to because I don't have time to. But
if you did,
like in an imaginary world where I went to the beach,
right. Go out and get the mail or something, you know?
Yeah, just dump the shirt off. And honestly, that is something I would do. But to me, there's so much pride. And the reason I have self-belief is because I've focused on getting to the next level in my self-belief and in my self-worth and in my ability to set boundaries and in my self-awareness. So I think anything you do, you can focus on improving incrementally. And there are so many facets to personal development, right? I think we say life, love, health, and wealth. But in love, there's self-love, there's intimate love with a partner, there's your family, there's your friends, health, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, and every one of those has things that fall under it. So it's a game. Alan would love this because this is what Alan used to say, and I have adopted so many of the things that he said because I've heard him say it so much. But it's a game that never ends, and you get to play forever, essentially, right? We're going to die. We're not going to get to play forever, but there is no max. There is no max. And I think of it as the video game analogy. You have attributes that you can put under certain skills. I want to level up so I can put that attribute under speaking. Cool, I leveled up as a speaker. And then eventually, if I do that for long enough, I'll be better than I am today, and it'll repeat forever, hopefully.
I love it. Yeah, you're right. It is an ongoing thing, and until the game is over for us here, right? And then the next level of the game. There's a next level of the game, no doubt about it. You mentioned things like these different levels within your personal development. So even just taking things like love, because you mentioned it a couple of times. I mean, even the Greek had several different words for love because they all meant something different. There was a love that, we use it in the English language as, oh, I love this, I love that, I love my kids, I love my grandkids, I love on down the line, but that's different than I love pizza. And so to be able to go, you could have an entire platform on what is love. And what does that mean in relationships? What does that mean to love a fellow brother? What does that mean to love your wife? What does that mean to love your kids? And to love your career so that you can actually pour into it. But the same thing goes for health. Look at the amount of money in the health industry. Like there's billion-dollar industries within billion-dollar industries in the health industry. Like we'll help you do this, we'll help you do that, overcome this, overcome that. And so you guys I get it. You have this platform of Next Level University where people can plug into and get pieces of each of that. That's a lot to offer and a lot to do because each one of those segments, each one of those buckets that you have is a huge thing. But they're all very important, right? To your point, it's if you're on one side of it with personal development and you got your mind right, but then you're not taking care of yourself, your body, that's a whole different thing, right? You're still indulging in processed foods and sugar and all this stuff. Well, your body's going to be affected, and so are your thoughts. So it's all that to say, isn't it true there's just unlimited things that you can be talking about to help somebody out within each one of those?
2,137 episodes as of today, and we will never run out of important things to say to people who care. Health, wealth, and love, I did the math. If you're top 1% in health, top 1% in wealth, and top 1% in love, statistically speaking, that's 1 over 100 to the third power, which is 1 in a million.
Wow.
And they're full-time jobs. I can give you, so physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual health, that's a full-time job right there. I always say, I don't want to buy a Ferrari, I want to live in one.
What do you mean?
My physical body.
Like,
I don't want to...
You want to live in I just want to make sure I understand.
I meant I don't want to buy a Ferrari and drive it around. I want to live in a Ferrari body.
Yeah, I get.
It's a
I get
metaphor.
what
I don't
you're
want to
saying.
actually live in a Ferrari.
You're going,
I do.
was going-
I
I was-
do. I do want to live.
Look, if we're gonna go down that direction, I mean, that's cool. You guys want to just beach this thing, and that's a whole different conversation of like, I'm
Well,
so
things are-
free of materialism that I'm gonna go buy a $500,000 Ferrari and live in it, and and that's personal development. When you find yourself like,
that's the
am I
clip. There it
homeless?
is.
Yeah, I'm living in my $500,000 Ferrari in Newport Beach.
No,
Like
I meant I
it's-
want to live in a Ferrari body,
Gotcha,
right? A sports car body.
gotcha.
And then wealth is how you make your money. Most importantly, is it meaningful work for you? You don't have to love every day, and nor are you gonna, right? But is it
Yeah.
meaningful work? And then how much do you make? Is it increasing or decreasing based on where the future's headed? I always say don't sell horses when cars are invented. People get mad at me. It's like, listen, it's a metaphor, okay? I love horses too, straight up. I'm gonna have
nothing against horses.
Yeah, nothing against horses. It's a metaphor. And then the third one is, where do you invest it? Time, effort, and money. Where do you invest your time, effort, and money? Particularly money. And then the third one is love. And I tell Emilia all the time, I said, I don't want to be at the top of this mountain not in love. Because her and I, we're taking some risks here. And I'm humble enough to, I know the statistics. The statistics humble me. So the divorce rate is pretty high. And the percentage of businesses that succeed is very, very, very low. So we're talking a percentage here. So I said, Emilia and I went into business together. We have 3 businesses between the two of us, and it's a podcast. It's called the Conscious Couples Podcast. Unapologetic plug. No, but in my Ferrari on the beach. No, but the point that I'm making is, I tell Emilia, listen, there's business Alan and there's lovey Alan, and they're not the same. And so the hardest part of my life, quite frankly, is being business partners with my intimate partner. And she's fortunately unbelievably good at taking hard truths and feedback and that kind of thing. So it's been really great. But I tell her all the time, I said, we're on a walk in the lovely neighborhood that we've worked so hard to be in and all this stuff. And we're talking about our next fucking episode. And I'm just like, babe, can we not for a second? Like we need to pour into us. And that's usually her more than me. Let's be honest. I'm always the one strategizing. But at the end of the day, I say, I don't want to be at the top of this mountain not in love. So I have mentors. I've had dozens, several of them multimillionaires, 1 billionaire, and they're unhealthy, man.
Which way?
I wouldn't
which way
trade
unhealthy?
Physically. What
Okay.
in the hell, man? Like,
Yeah.
listen, it's not like you don't have the time. There's gyms in the Bahamas,
Yeah.
right? And I'm not about it. No. And they're not in love. All of them are divorced. I'm not trying to be wealthy, divorced, and out of shape. That ain't
Yeah.
me. I'm not for
Yeah.
it. Now, again, maybe that's for them, and their second marriage is going much better. Obviously, I'm thinking of one person right now. But I'm not for that. When you realize you don't even want to be your boss's boss, you just go, you know what? Fuck this. I'm going to go build something that is unique. And health, wealth, and love is very rare. I thought I'd have friends. Nope. Absolutely not. Not a thing. You're not going to have a social life because it's 3 full-time jobs, and I am obsessed, to Kevin's point. So he has more of a social life than I do.
Really? So you're like, you just don't have a friend network?
No.
Wow. Wow.
I knew Kevin was going to die when I said
So like, you got Kevin, obviously. Like
Yeah,
there's,
yeah.
But this
So-
is the interesting thing, Tim. If we didn't have a business together, we wouldn't be friends.
really?
No. Alan is in the best way, the most obsessed person with this I've ever seen in my life. Not close. Yeah, not close. Alan is different. When we first partnered up, Alan had another business partner.
He said
And
it in quotes.
He wasn't really.
Yeah.
He wasn't really. Again,
Yeah.
I have love for this person, but
Same.
it's different. It's different. And he messed up. He could be in my position. He could buy. If he was humble enough and he had enough work ethic and he was willing to show up as much, he could be in my position. A lot of people could be in my position. And I saw something in Alan a long time ago. I didn't know what it was. It was just he's different. I don't know how to explain it. He has answers to questions I don't know how to ask yet. And he made a big bet on me, and I made a big bet on him, and we've both been right. Him more than I would say. But yeah, it's different. That sometimes that scares me a little because of how. In the beginning, it scared me because it's like I have to be just like Alan. So I'm never gonna have any friends. I'm never gonna have any free time. And eventually, it was like, hey man, I'm like freaking out. Do I have to work Sundays? He's like, no, you don't have to work Sundays. We got to the point where we realized my strengths, we realized his strengths, we realized what fulfilled me, what fulfilled him. That's why the self-awareness and the personal development is so important, because we genuinely love each other. We're not going to get off here and get into a fist fight. We don't almost ever argue. I mean, we have disagreements, right? But it has taken 8 years to figure out what's best for me isn't always what's best for business, but we can make it better. And what's best for business isn't always what's best for me, but we can make it better. And then the same on Alan's end. And it's interesting. We have a very interesting relationship, and I'm super grateful for the relationship we have. But I've never met a human like Alan.
You guys are different guys.
Very, very different but
guys.
similar goals.
You have, I mean, you are plugged into friends, and you have some interests outside of work and stuff like that. So you're different, which is
less
important,
than you,
right?
All of it's probably less than you think. Honestly, it's still a very small amount. But I couldn't go all the way to 0 like Alan. I was like, I don't know if I can do that, man.
I think what I'm hearing, I think what was happening here, and I appreciate you guys doing this, is you're just setting me up going, Tim, we have absolutely no intention of being your friend. Like there is, just so you know, we want to record it. We want it on the recording. This is it.
We'll be collaborators. We can be collaborators.
Exactly. But if you try to reach over the fence and like while you're mowing your lawn and say, hey, you want to hang out for a little bit? The answer is always no. And if you want to do another podcast or something, you want to talk business, that's fine. But no,
Tim, this is my line. I appreciate it. Not interested. So that's when you know it's like in my head it's fuck no, but that's
you're
not very
just saying
polite.
I'm done.
Yeah,
Like-
no, I'm not interested. Thank you, but no thank you. I'm not interested. That's my new favorite line of all time. No, I want to be honest. I'm being playful here with you guys. I love it. But the Michael Phelps spent 5 years straight in the pool every single day. Birthdays, Christmas, holidays, everything. 5 years straight in the pool before 08 when he won all those gold medals. I do treat myself like an Olympic athlete. I'm obviously not an Olympic athlete, but it's the same mentality. And so, you know, I've accumulated 10,959 hours of coaching, training, and podcasting. This will be my 10,960th.
That's one.
Assuming that you don't kick me off here before we end, because I won't be able to count it. No, I'm big in metrics, and I just, to me, the 1% improvement every single day is a belief that I will not ever miss, no matter what.
So how are you able to, you mentioned earlier that you're future focused, if I heard that right, or maybe there was a different, maybe you said it differently.
Yeah,
okay.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So, but there's obviously an enormous amount of value in staying present for tons of reasons. One, because that's the only thing that's happening. That's your life. Like right now, this is the only thing that's happening. Like we're recording this episode. There's nothing else happening. There's other things happening, but for us three, it's right here. And how can you stay present? And I'm not necessarily challenging you. It's more of just like a legitimate question. Hey, how are you doing this? How are you staying present when you're future focused? And at the same time, just going, man, I'm on a walk right now. This is gorgeous scenery. Like you said, you live in the neighborhood that you work so hard to get into. So hopefully you're able to appreciate that and just be able to just be in the state of like present gratitude. Hey man, I'm like living this. And to look around and go, I'm grateful for every single thing in my life right now. Like, this is it. Can you do that?
Yeah, hardest question to answer, but I'll give it a shot, and I appreciate it. And I know you're not challenging me, but even if you are, that's okay. This is good. There's the power of now and all that kind of stuff. I understand. I believe in duality, which is holding two seemingly opposing ideas in your consciousness simultaneously. So there's a book called The Self-Made Billionaire Effect, and this is back in 2012 when there was only, I think, 1,200 self-made billionaires. There's more than that, but non-generational wealth.
Okay.
And they said the number one quality of a billionaire is they can hold two seemingly opposing ideas in their consciousness simultaneously. So, for example, emotion and logic, the past and the present, and the future. So there's duality, triality, and there's another book called The Hidden Habits of Genius that studies all the geniuses of history. And essentially what they found is that geniuses can hold multiple beliefs simultaneously in a given moment. And so I'm always learning from the past, building in the present, and optimizing for a bigger, better, brighter future 24/7, 365. And I'm doing that right now. As a matter of fact, I wouldn't even be here. See, people think we're here to be here. We're not. We're all here because our three goals have collided in this moment. All three of us have goals. Maybe they're conscious, maybe they're not. But most relationships in life are a byproduct of goals or core values. And this is why friendship's so hard, because my relationships were a byproduct. I'll give you an example. So I was big into Halo 2 back in the day. I know you remember. You were probably you were around a lot of nerds, so you were not, Halo 2. Okay.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
Bungie.net used to have these rankings, and I would play every single day. I was obsessive my whole life. And I was 20th in the world. I was trying to get number 1. And I had one of my best friends in high school was from Georgia. I knew his gamer tag better than his name. He was not my best friend because we decided to be best friends. He was my best friend because we were both obsessed with Halo. And I think a lot of people want to believe otherwise. Most of us are stumbling upon relationships when in reality, we're all looking for goals. So Kevin and I happen to collide, and we have mutual goals and mutual core values and very different complementary skill sets, fortunately. Yin and yang type of thing. But ultimately, it's most people that say stay present are usually carefree wandering and romanticizing it when in reality they actually are lost. There's that quote of not all those who wander are lost. Statistically speaking, most people who wander actually are lost, and they are unfulfilled, typically romanticizing it. And I've been there. I had a nihilistic time when I was just partying and I was lost, and I said, screw goals, I'm going to try this out. It was atrociously bad. So maybe that's unique to me, and this will be the last thing I'll share about this before I get off the soapbox, but I love your question. I researched this recently. There's 500 breeds of dog. And it depends what country, but 500 total.
Okay.
And we think there's only one breed of human. No, there's 500 breeds of humans. Some of us are Dalmatians, some of us are Great Danes, some of us are Chihuahuas, and we're all different. And we are so scared to be who we really are. And the truth is, I used to be too much of a coward to say it. I'm always in the future. Everything I do in the present is reverse engineered based on the future that I want. And I think that fulfillment is a byproduct of reaching my potential and my greatest level of contribution. And I can't do that unless I'm doing things intentionally and by design. And everything's by design for me, including my business partnership with Kev. That's why he's like, holy shit, I can't believe we got here. It's like, brother, I'm not surprised at all. If anything, we're wildly behind.
Still ahead of where I thought I'd be, Tim. That's a win for me.
No, I appreciate the answer. It is, I can tell you when I slowed down and paid attention to the things that were in the room that I'm in and really paid attention to the people that were across the table from me and was highly aware of the senses in the room, the smells, the sights, the sounds, man, wonderful. Like the joy that it brought just to be like the gratitude of where I was at in that any given moment, which I do think is orchestrated. So I'm sitting with people. I'm like, I'm just going to be grateful that I'm in this room with these people for whatever reason. To your point, okay, let's say it's we'll say all of our goals led us to this particular meeting, and just have the appreciation that like I'm hearing from these people. I might not ever see them again, and you get to build a little bit of rapport and relationship. And at the same time, it's this moment. It means something. Like life is about moments, no doubt about it. And they end up being stories. They end up being lessons. They end up being things that you're pulling from. And ultimately, it is our life. Like it's what we look back on. It's what we romanticize on. It's what we have hopefully fond memories of. And even the tough things, like the thought of overcoming them and what it was like to be in those moments and go, hey, I came out of it. And I'm better because of it. And here's why I do things differently. And I set boundaries and all the stuff that happens when you grow from things that happen in your life. So it's a good answer. I appreciate the authenticity and to say where you're at.
Something with you real quick.
Please.
First of all, I want to share this. It took everything in me not to say that was such a powerful moment you were going, and I would never do this, but I want to do it because I think it'll be funny. I was like, that must be some hella mushrooms. I'm sorry. when you were going through that moment with the scene, I didn't because I knew it would be toxic. But
no, you can. You're fine.
It was funny. The second thing too, real quick, and I think this is a powerful thing that I wonder. Again, this was obvious to me when I was a kid, but I'm also a super weirdo. People say it's about the journey, not the destination. But what we fail to realize is the destination we choose in advance dictates the journey.
Mm-hmm.
And so goals, there's only 3%, I've researched this, 3% of people have clear written goals. And so unfortunately, if you don't have a goal to reach your potential, you basically by definition never will. And unfortunately, so when I drove across the country and I lived in LA for a time, I went from Boston to Los Angeles. That's a very different journey. I'm sure you've done across the country trip. Yeah, it's unbelievable. The Rockies, unbelievable.
Yeah,
so I'm
great.
with you. Being present, the experience is magnificent. But that experience is a byproduct of the journey, the destination we chose in advance.
No doubt.
That's very different than choosing 30 minutes south, right? And so people say it's about the journey. Yeah, after they achieve all their dreams. You hear people all the time who have already achieved all their dreams and they go, wait, it's about the journey. Yeah, but if you didn't have goals, it wouldn't have been that much of a journey. So I think The Hobbit is such a good metaphor for this. That magnificent adventure that book and those movies is a byproduct of a journey that you go on. The world isn't in your books and maps. It's out there. And that's sort of Dumbledore, but not Dumbledore, Gandalf. They look similar.
Yeah, it's great. I do agree. It is when you are on the way towards something, and I suppose that's what makes it super sweet, meaning like the taste of it and the smell of it and all of it, like you're heading towards something and you know you are. You're just having these experiences and moments along the way. And it's, Kevin, you're in sales. Like you can't wing it. You can't wing sales. There's got to be like a methodology. There has to be goals. There has to be a system in place to be able to know, hey, here's our goal. Here's what we want to get to. Here's our stretch and all of that stuff. And then systematically things in place. Like salespeople are not good at winging stuff, and they shouldn't be. They need to have things in front of them like, hey, it's going to take 50 calls a day. And by the end of the week, we should have this many qualified prospects at the tied into the funnel. And that means we're going to have 3 deals closed the following week, but we're going to be continuing to churn out the same process.
And this meaningful conversation we're having is a byproduct of our 3 dreams. Where our dreams are colliding right now. Right? We're achieving our dreams. That's what makes it more meaningful. I think that's a beautiful thing. Yeah. Sorry to interrupt you.
No, it's cool. It's this is how I think information gets fleshed out as you sharpen on it, like you sharpen on each other. Like, okay, well, what do you mean by that? Gotcha. Okay. Well, here's some perspective that I have. Is this fitting? Like, how do you do this? Oh, I do a little bit differently. Great. And then you ultimately, what we're all agreeing on here for sure is having this idea of what you want to create, what you want to become, who you want to become is super important. And then to be able to enjoy it along the way, celebrate some wins. You didn't say that. That's what I'm saying. And be able to appreciate these milestones along the way so that you can celebrate where you're at and go like, hey, we're still moving forward, but look, this is killer where we're at right now. Like you guys are going to have a record-breaking month because of this podcast. I totally get it. And I appreciate you saying it that way. And that this is the anchor reason for it. And I mean, just think of the business you're going to get after this. Like Alan couldn't even look me in the face when I said that. You see, he covered his face with his hand. He just like, he was telling the producer on the back end, we're done. No. So I'm happy for you guys. It's cool. So what can people expect? Like, what is this going to mean for them to be part of Next Level University? They're hearing things that they like. You're going, well, hey, these are stories from people that I know are getting things done, that are 100% invested in serving other people and helping other people. So what can they expect if they plug into Next Level University?
Simplest answer I could give is essentially you will never be alone on your growth journey because Alan and I are leading by example every single day. The reason we do an episode every day is because if we're going to tell you you can get a little bit better every day, we better be there leading the charge. Mm-hmm. So you will always be striving with 2 people that will always be striving, and we will never say we have it all figured out. We will never say we're done, and we will never slow down. And I think it's hard enough to be on a growth journey, never mind trying to find people that you want to be on the journey with, or people that you resonate with, or people that maybe you look up to. So yeah, that's really what we aspire to become and continue to become, the type of people we needed at the beginning of the journey. Hopefully we can be that for other people, but that starts with us being that for ourselves first.
And what does it look like for people to engage with you guys? Like, how does that work? People like just raise their hand and go, cool, I want to, where do they go? And then what does it look like?
Go ahead, Alan.
Well, it depends. So we have a 24-layer business model. No,
we're looking to go through 12 of them right now.
Right now. No, so we have a book club. We've been doing that for 5 years. I have a book club. Kevin has never been there.
I have been. In the beginning, I've been kicked out of a lot of things. Tim, I used to be the CFO. We went over that already.
We have a book club. We do monthly meetups, which are free trainings every single
I just
month.
got kicked out of that also. Yes, that's another one.
I'm not doing them in that
You
order.
can't do it all, Kevin. You
Kev
can't
is-
do it all.
Kev, well, we got to kick him out so he can go sell.
That's
Right.
Man.
CSO, man.
He can't be everywhere. He's CSO, exactly. People like him. They don't like me. So we got to keep me in book club behind the scenes. So he's a podcast coach. I'm a business coach. We have 3 podcasts between the two of us. It's Next Level University, Podcast Growth University, and I just started Business Growth University. Level up yourself, level up your podcast, level up your business. And we work with 108 podcasters and business owners that are paying clients right now. We have a group coaching program. So we are unbelievably grateful. And to your point earlier, the duality piece of how do you stay unbelievably grateful for how far you've come, becoming the men we never had growing up, because we both grew up without fathers. And we ain't done yet, baby. We're still climbing.
Mhm.
And if anyone has a sincere interest to reach their potential in life, business, podcasting, like reach out, Instagram us, Google us, ChatGPT us, whatever, and it will be us that answers. We talked earlier about belonging and community, and we felt very alone in the beginning of this journey for obvious reasons in hindsight. 2 guesses why I had no friends. But ultimately, you don't have to be alone on the growth journey. I was at Thanksgiving and I tried to bring up a personal development conversation, and I quickly realized this is not going to happen. So I think in some ways we built a business to be a place where we belong, because Kevin and I both never felt like we belonged anywhere. And we used to spend every Father's Day together, and because everyone else was with their dads, we would go fishing, and then we started the Next Level Hope Foundation for kids. We partnered with the YMCA, and now we do 2 events a year, and every Father's Day and the holidays for single parents, kids of single parents. And
Right
I
on.
schooled Kevin in
Yeah, I
basketball
lost
this-
bad. Next time we're gonna have a boxing match, and I think it'll probably go differently.
Right. You got to talk. You got to engage in the things you know
That's
you
what
can
we
win.
always play. He's
You know?
6'1". What do we think's gonna happen?
He
you know?
turned to me recently. He's like, "Why do we always play basketball? We should play
Why are we doing
football,
this
man.
again?"
Yeah, what are we
Right.
doing?" It's like, I got it.
It's always
no,
fun.
but
It's always
but
fun.
it's been awesome. So if anyone wants to reach out, please do. Yeah.
Hey, it's terrific. I think it's wonderful you guys are giving back in the manner that, again, it's part of your experience, part of your story. You know what it's like to grow up without fathers, and so you know how tough it is. So to be available and to do things that you know are going to make a difference, I think it's great, you guys. Like that's what we're supposed to be doing, is to be giving back and serving people, and it needs to come from stuff that we are familiar with, that we live through. Otherwise, how could you really connect with somebody? And you could, and there's wonderful people that do that for people that don't necessarily have the same background. But man, when you run into somebody that's been through something you're going through, there's a next level. Look at that, a next level of conversation and rapport building, all of that, when you just feel that connection. So you guys have been a lot of fun. This is, it felt like 10 minutes. Like seriously, it just like blew by. And I'm grateful to have you guys on. It was super fun. So hopefully we get to do this again. And all my best to you guys as you continue to build all your platforms. There's a lot going on there with a lot, I'm sure, of moving parts. And so, Alan, it's okay to have friends, brother. Like I think that like, I'm sure that, and maybe like you said, they just need to like Kevin, but you guys are both likable, and it was fun today. So thanks a lot for being on the show. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having us. We will come back anytime.
100%.
Seriously, thank you.
It was
Appreciate
wonderful.
and great engaging conversation. So I hope whoever listened and or viewed this took something from it. I know.
And
they
if
did.
you liked me better, reach out.
Right.
Yep.
Reach out, but reach out. Make sure you reach out to Kevin. That's
Kevin.
I mean, really, we're
And
talking about just reach
all
out to
hate
Kevin.
mail also goes to Kevin at nextleveluniverse.com as well.
Right.
So.
But it will get on Alan's desk. Just so you're
Immediately
clear about
forward it.
Right on, you guys. You guys take care. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Appreciate you back, Tim.